but always a pleasure here at TSN 690 when we get to talk to the voice of CFL on TSN, Mr. Rod Smith. How you doing, Rod?
Always good to talk to you, Sean. Hi, Simon. Yeah, how you guys doing today?
Doing great.
We're doing as great as the Alouettes.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, we all want to be doing as great as the Alouettes right now, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's been an impressive start to the season. They're done with the Redblacks. 1/3 of their wins have been against the Redblacks, but they've already come back. They lost to the Elks in overtime. They faced them again and beat them, so they kind of got a little bit of revenge on their only loss. I don't know what can stop this team right now, Rod.
No, they're number one. I mean, beating Edmonton, getting another shot at Edmonton. You say in that one, they had a really good shot at winning that game in Edmonton too. Their only loss. So, they've proven themselves against the top team in the West. Saskatchewan right now is slumping a little bit. BC is coming on. These will be interesting tests for the Alouettes, but right now I think it's pretty clear. And the record shows it, that they're the number one team in the CFL.
Rod, I just want to touch on what you just touched on. BC Lions, clearly, with a healthy Nathan Rourke, are a completely different football team. When they're going, can we make a claim that they're the second best team in the Canadian Football League?
That might be premature, Simon. I still want to see them beating the Riders, although Saskatchewan had some injury troubles, especially at receiver. They did get Sam Emelis back, but BC was clearly the better team in that game. And you talked about Nathan Rourke, and definitely that's a factor. They've won 4 games in a row now, and he's had a hand in 3 of those games. They managed to win one without him as well. But their defense, Mike Benavides and that defense took a lot of heat early in the season, and they have steadily improved. It took them, with some of the changes they made, it took them a little while to get some chemistry going, but they have it now. And I think even Nathan Rourke was saying that, credit their defense, the job it did against Trevor Harris, and the Riders, and in the games before against Vernon Adams in Calgary before, where they won dramatically, the week before that. So they're rolling. I'd be curious to see, and I don't have the skid in front of me when their game against the Alouettes would be. The Alouettes have become the litmus test for every other team, how you do against Montreal. But they're coming on, and they split their 2 games with Edmonton. They looked very good in getting their first win over the Elks, and that was way back in week 5 in Kelowna. And then in the rematch, Rourke went down right at the beginning, and Edmonton, wound up winning that game. So, I guess the shorter way I could have put it is, I'm really impressed with the way they're rolling right now. They're 5-5. I need to see a little bit more.
Well, that schedule, it's coming up fast. It's going to be a home and home with the BC Lions. After this week, as the Owls go to Winnipeg, they host BC, then go to BC.
Well,
so
there you go.
There you go.
That'll be a really interesting test to see, and of course I love, like everyone else, I love a good quarterback matchup, and Nathan Rourke is really starting to settle in. He made some brilliant plays against the Riders, and of course Davis Alexander. That's another thing I don't know if you guys have been talking about a lot, but at this point in the season, when you're talking about MOP, you talk about Tyson Philpott, or the guy that's getting them the ball. Those two are just lights out.
Yeah, it's right now it seems to be run away, at least in the East, but there's still so much football left in the CFL season, Rod. You mentioned him, Davis Alexander, and you've been covering the CFL for a while now. Do you recall a young quarterback coming in as easily as Davis Alexander has?
The only other name I can think of right now, because even Nathan Rourke took his lumps, earlier on when he was thrown in as a starter back in 2021, although what he did in a half season in 2022 was pretty amazing, as you recall, before he tried the NFL. Maybe the parallel, which is an easy one to drop, I suppose, is Bo Levi Mitchell, who, like Davis, had to wait his turn. In 2012, he came into the league. I think he was a number 3 on the depth. And by 2014, he finally earned the starter's job, and he never looked back in those early years. Like Davis, he had one of the greatest starts in terms of winning in CFL history. And that's probably the one name that I can just pull out right now, that after a couple of years riding the bench and, once he got his chance, he was just on fire, as is Davis Alexander. And it's funny, we can still, I know you can remember this too, we've talked about it. that moment. Cody Fajardo's hurt in 2024. Davis Alexander's been around for a couple of years. He's in a QB room with Vernon Adams even before Vernon's gone, and with Trevor Harris, and later with Cody Fajardo, and he's biding his time. And I think he was still 3 on the depth in 24 behind Caleb Evans, who gets the start against Saskatchewan when Cody is hurt. And Jason Moss, I guess, wanted to shake things up when the offense was struggling and puts Davis in at halftime. And we saw the start of something right there. That was the beginning. When, what was he? Was he 10 for 10 and 2 touchdowns? I mean, is that the way he started against the Riders? Something like that. Where his first 2 possessions in the second half, when they were down, and he led them back. And it was hard not to notice how good this guy could be. And, I mean, it's just, with the exception of the hamstring injury, I mean, everything has been uphill for this guy.
And isn't he the perfect quarterback, top player right now in the league with the personality to help the CFL?
I think it's great. I love it. I mean, I even think the East Final last year in Hamilton, and you could tell he was starting, that hamstring was still aggravating him then, and he was playing through it. But he'd go for a run, he'd get hit hard out of bounds, gets up with the hands in the air for the Ticat fans, taunting them back as they were taunting him. I love the personality. I love the fire. I know Jason Moss loves it too. But I mean, he's a character, and he's young, he's exuberant, he's talented, and I agree. I think he's great for the league, no question.
Rogers looking Friday on TSN television, on TSN 690. Very simple here, this matchup, Owls offense versus the Blue Bombers defense.
I would say so. I still, Zach Collaros, I haven't heard the latest on him, but he had been dressed, and I don't know if he was taking first-team reps, but, he had just come off the injured list. But, that's obviously very key for Winnipeg's offense. But for the Bomber D, I mean, it has to be. I think in the way Montreal's offense is going right now, that's really, I guess that's the key matchup of just about, of every game. And that's with all the respect that is certainly due to the Owls defense as well. But I mean, another team's defense trying to shut down what Montreal can do, so explosive, especially that combination of Alexander and Philpott. But there's so many other things too. Travis Tice, the way he's playing right now, that offensive line. I mean, the other receivers that they do have, that's a real challenge. And, the Bomber defense has certainly had its issues this season. I mean, the entire team has, sitting at 5-5 right now. And they did, for the most part, they did an excellent job against Edmonton last week, shutting them down completely in the first half. But the Elks did manage to come back, and the Bomber offense was shut down pretty well completely in that second half, and Edmonton ends up coming back and winning it. But yeah, that's certainly a big test for Winnipeg. So you could say that about any team facing Montreal right now.
Yeah, it's trying to figure out how to reel in Tyson Philpott. Philpott doesn't get 100 yards last week, but he still finds the end zone twice. He's dangerous wherever he is on the field with this offense. And that's so great for this league, Rod, that the top receiver is a Canadian receiver right now.
Yeah, it is. And there's a lot. I mean, I can't recall an era of the CFL, Sean, where there's been so much Canadian talent at receiver. I mean, when you talk about Justin McInnes and BC, you look at what Saskatchewan has in Emilus and Schaefer-Baker, and in Hamilton, Keandre Smith, who has not been as productive, of course, after the injury to Bo Levi Mitchell. And then the Philpott twins and Tyson leading the way, leading everyone, and on just an historic pace. And the amount of yardage that he's projected right now, for what it's worth. There's still a lot of football to play, as you say, but for well over 2,000 yards receiving, I mean, it's just uncanny. And there is just so much talent out there, and it's gratifying to see. It's nice to see at the skill position so many Canadians doing well in the CFL.
Rod, just the Ottawa Redblacks, not very good. Let's not kid ourselves. They make a move, though. Interesting move. A player that a coach, general manager, and everything very familiar to this city. They go and get Jim Popp to just try to help things out, try to figure things out in Ottawa. How surprised were you with that move?
A little surprised from the standpoint that I really hadn't followed what Jim had been doing in recent years. I do have and always have had a lot of respect for his ability to recognize talent. He certainly has a good understanding of players that would be good for the Canadian Football League. I mean, he's been He's been out of it for a while. I want to say, what was it, around 2018 with the Argos? I mean, they won a Grey Cup in 17 when Mark Trestman was there too. After that, Jim had left the Alouettes, and he's had highs and lows, a lot of highs in the CFL in his history. I mean, going back to Baltimore, he was with Saskatchewan, and then Baltimore with Don Matthews when they won the Grey Cup in '95, and then goes to Montreal, as the franchise did back then in '96, and look at everything they did. I mean, Montreal really didn't start to fall off until after Trestman left, after 2012-13, when AC's career was coming to an end, and then they had some lean years after that, and then Jim Popp left and won another Grey Cup in Toronto. But it's been a while. I mean, at least 8 years, I want to say, since he's been in the league. So I don't know. I don't know what immediate impact he could have with Ottawa, but they have to start obviously looking ahead. I mean, they're 0-10, and they've got and as I say, with his connections in the U.S. still, and his ability to assess talent, especially at this point in time, American talent, because I don't know how much attention that he has paid to the CFL over recent seasons, but he's a smart guy, he's an experienced guy, and certainly can't hurt. I was a bit surprised from the standpoint that I didn't think that possibility was out there. But Ottawa obviously needs to do something to get this turned around, and it's not so much about now; it's about next season.
Where are you headed this week?
I am off to Calgary on Friday for Saturday's game against the Ticats, and then I got the immediate turnaround for Sunday night in Ottawa, and that'll be BC Lions against the Redblacks. So interesting matchups for a variety of reasons, of course. But it's a busy weekend ahead, and it's lots of fun.
So you just take it 1 week at a time, right? Like this, because you didn't know the BC Lions and Owls were ready to go. Rod's like 1 week at a time. Just tell me where I'm going and what I need to do.
Exactly. I mean, even some of the Lions are joking, and they're probably sick of seeing me. I feel like I'm the voice of the BC Lions now. I've done so many Lions games lately. Last week at home, just a few days ago at home against the Riders, and the week before that against Cal. I've done a lot. I tell you what, and I haven't even looked at the sched. I would love to have the Lions Alouettes game. There's one. I haven't done a Montreal game since they hosted Calgary. So when they had the back-to-back against the Stampeders, so I was used to getting to Montreal more, and I kind of miss watching the Alouettes, especially the way they're rolling right now. But I know I'll be there Thanksgiving. But I normally, you're right. 1 week I'm so concentrated on what I have to do this week that I rarely do look ahead, and then until the games are done, and then I go, okay, well, going here now. So it's always fun wherever I go. It's always fun.
And I know like some stadiums are a little bit different on setup and room and comfort, but do you have a favorite stadium?
Let's see. In terms of vantage point, it's really hard to top Saskatchewan. I mean, the booth is so comfortable, everything else. In terms of atmosphere, I love Montreal. I mean, it's not the greatest booth. It's an old stadium. But once you get settled in there, and I know you could speak well to this, when the fans are into it, the view facing south, looking in Montreal, being up on the hill at McGill, I mean, it's wonderful. I mean, and that's somewhat sentimental for me playing college football. That was the second last game I ever played was there in that stadium. Queens McGill back in, I don't want to say, years and years ago. But I love it there. I love going to Montreal. But I probably, Winnipeg and Saskatchewan are right there too. And, the ones in Calgary and Hamilton, the vantage points are really, really high up. But, I can almost picture in my mind, and I'm lucky this way, and I know you can as well, every single perch. They're all a little bit different, but it's just such a cool way to watch a football game when you can sit up there close to midfield looking. I mean, feel very lucky.
Yeah. You guys always get the better boost than the radio guys anyways. Well,
if you need a monitor, let me know.
Okay. Sometimes we do. What position did you play?
I was a center at Queens, and then I moved out to tackle in my last year.
All right.
But I was, hung in there. It's funny, I'm, probably a little heavier now. I didn't really lose my playing weight. I probably could have been bigger as a tackle, but I preferred the inside. I actually preferred center, and I did long snaps as well.
Was that versus the? I'm just trying to I've seen you on television my whole life. I'm just trying to guess your age here, Rod. Is that against maybe the Michael Souls?
I'm in my 60s, Simon.
Okay, so Michael Souls, Redmond, maybe?
No, I was before Michael, actually, but I do remember him.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, what a running back he was, because I remember, don't get me started on college ball. I mean, you'll be cutting me off. My last year was 81. One of my proudest moments, it was the thrill at McGill. We were trailing, I think, 16-1 at the half. And we came back, we changed our offense at halftime because McGill's defense was number 1 in the country. And we started running option, which we'd only practiced. And it was the defense was just didn't really know how to adjust to it at the time. They had no idea whether we ran it. And it was kind of like early stage RPO. I mean, it was just something that worked. We came back and won. Then we ended up getting destroyed by Acadia the next week. That was my last game in Halifax. But that was 1981. Michael Souls, I remember McGill in '87 against defending champion UBC in the Vanier Cup, and he was amazing. I think he ran for over 200 yards in that game and was Vanier Cup MVP. And McGill, that was McGill's last national championship. They were amazing.
Thanks, Rod. Hopefully I'll see you in that BC Owls game, and hopefully you get it. If they're listening, maybe they'll move you to that game.
Yeah, well, anyway, yeah. Oh, you know what? No, maybe I'll lobby for it for sure, because I look forward to that matchup, too, because the Lions are coming on.